Hey, what's going on, everybody? So early on, the devs dropped this hotfix. That's the patch I'm talking about earlier this week. It's a fairly significant one, focused more on polishing and smoothing out things rather than introducing a new feature or expansion. And when something like this lands, it usually means they heard the feedback, players flagged issues, and now they're trying to make the experience more stable, less frustrating, more seamless. That's very good. I know many players had flagged issues, quest bugs, co-op sync problems, graphical glitches, maybe even crashes, and this patch is meant to address a wide spectrum of those headaches. When I first loaded into the game post-hotfix, one of the things I noticed right away was how much smoother movement feels, especially around ledges and in those tricky parkour transitions. Before, I'd sometimes press the button and the character kind of hung for a moment or had that awkward did I grab it or not hesitation. Now that hesitation feels drastically reduced. You can feel the character commit to grabbing and the animation looks more natural. That matters a lot in a game built around traversal. The difference isn't subtle. You'll feel it. If you play it a while, you'll probably start to get used to it, maybe even forget the earlier stuttering, which is the best kind of fix, invisible in the positive sense. On the performance side, there are a number of under the hood fixes, crash patches, tweaks to map loading and shutdown behavior, and platform compatibility stuff. If you were someone who occasionally got a crash or locking screen on an exit or weird hangs while loading, those are supposed to be greatly reduced now. I tested this across a few maps, did some fast travel hops, quit to desktop on PC and back in, and I did not hit a repeat of the crash I'd seen previously. It's not perfect, but the frequency seems much lower now. Also, on consoles, folks are seeing better stability overall. Visually, they addressed several artifacts, especially in the SSR realm. Reflections, lighting, stuff that sometimes flickered or had odd artifacts. These visual inconsistencies can really pull you out of immersion, especially when you're in darker scenes or moving fast. After the patch, those artifacts seem far less frequent and the lighting feels more solid. For people using frame generation or performance boosts, they also fine-tune some settings so flicker or odd frame jumps are less jarring. That means the world feels steadier as you move through it, which is one of those subtle but meaningful quality of life improvements. Quest progression got a fair bit of love in this. There were certain quests, main or side, where players reported soft locks or parts not triggering or NPCs not showing or dialogue refusing to advance. Those are nightmare scenarios when you're invested in the story or trying to complete side content. The patch addresses issues in multiple quests. Names like Safe Haven, Power Gambit, School's Out. Don't look back in anger. You know which ones I mean. Some players who had stalled out may now be able to progress past points they'd been stuck at before. In co-op, synchronization between host and guest had replication problems, actions done on one end not always visualized or applied on the other end. That should be much improved now. Achievements too. Some weren't registering or were glitched. Hope those are more reliable now. Another detail. Inventory, crafting, weapon damage consistency, scroll bugs, stuck audio loops, translation errors, those smaller annoyances that pile up. Some of those got fixed. For example, previously, if you scrolled through stash or inventory fast, it might get stuck or skip weirdly. Now, scrolling feels more consistent. Music or audio loops that persisted past triggers seem less frequent. Translation or text errors for non-English players got some tweaks. These are the kinds of fixes you appreciate once you notice them, and then you forget they were ever a problem. But it's not all perfect. Nothing ever is. I poked around, looked at community reports on Steam and Reddit, and there are still a handful of lingering issues. Some players still report occasional instability in very specific quests or weird co-op edge cases where replication still glitches. Others sometimes see lighting or GPU artifacts in rare combinations of settings. A few more soft locks, though fewer. If you're one of those hitting a persistent issue, best bet is to try to isolate it. Does it occur only in co-op or only on certain maps or after certain decisions? Try verifying game files or reinstalling just that chunk, and if nothing works, log a ticket with the devs. They'll need repro steps. If I were you picking topics for your video, I'd start by inviting viewers in with how this patch feels from the inside. Not just here are patch notes, but this is how I ran through that mission after the patch. This is how my performance feels different. This is where I used to hit that hitch and now I don't. Then walk through the major categories: stability and performance, movement slash traversal, especially lifts, ledges, jumps, visual fixes, quest, progression fixes. Then wrap it with tips, with screenshots or video clips comparing before and after. And finally, raise some remaining issues and encourage feedback. Tonight, or whenever you record, when you're in your favorite map, maybe go run a few high-stress scenarios. Fast travel, load-unload zones, high enemy density, co-op runs. Show what used to stall out, now runs smoother. Show a quest that used to glitch and now works. Build that contrast. That's going to resonate with players who've lived the frustration. Also, ask your audience in the video, when you apply this patch, what's the one issue you most hope is gone? Then invite them to comment if it remains or if there's a new one. Build that dialogue. All right, before I let you go, I'll read you a kind of narrative version you could adapt or riff on, so you don't have to script every line. You can use this in your video or tweak as you like. Hey, what's going on, folks? Today I'm diving deep into the hotfix that landed recently for the Beast. Now, when I first logged in, something felt different. Movement was crisper, ledge grabs smoother, that little hesitation I used to get mostly gone. It's like the character responds more faithfully now. In my tests, I ran across maps, fast traveled, exited, and reloaded, and didn't hit the crashes I used to see semi-regularly. On the visual side, SSR glitches and lighting artifacts that bothered me before seem far less obvious. And then there are quests I had stuck in my backlog, ones where NPCs wouldn't spawn or dialogue wouldn't trigger. They're behaving better now. In co-op, I tested with a friend and I saw fewer replication glitches, meaning what I did shows up more reliably for my partner. Inventory scrolling feels steadier, audio loops don't hang as often, translation fixes are subtle but appreciated. Now, that's not to say everything is sorted. Some edge cases still bug out. I saw reports of soft locks lingering in rare missions, rare texture anomalies and odd graphics setups, or co-op sync issues that pop up in niche combos. So if you hit one, do me a favor, test solo versus co-op, verify files, maybe reload the section. And if it still breaks, file a bug with the devs and include what you did and where. I think this patch is a big step forward. It doesn't fix everything, but it leans in the right direction. I'm curious, after you guys patch, which issue do you hope is totally fixed for you? Drop that in the comments. And if you want me to test a specific quest or spot, hit me up. I'll try to record before-after comparisons to show what's changed.